Hi there, today I'm going to show you how to make a quick and easy card perfect for the holidays. This is a pretty simple card. It uses a strip of designer series paper, a greeting, some ribbon, and an embellishment. To get started, we're going to use Coastal Cabana cardstock, and this is a standard card size, and it measures 8.5 by 5.5, and it's scored down the middle at 4 1/4. My greeting is coming from a stamp set called More Merry Messages, and I'm going to stamp it in Coastal Cabana. I'm going to tap on the ink pad. I'm going to check it on my grid paper to make sure it's on the block straight. And I do that by lining up the edge of the block to one of the lines on the grid paper. And this will let me know that it's on the block straight. So just tap, tap on your ink pad. Line up your cardstock to the lines on your grid paper. And this is going to be stamped in the top right hand corner. So let's say that I messed up this greeting and I didn't like the way that I stamped it. You could actually fold this the opposite way, make this the front of your card, stamp your greeting again, and then you could layer on the inside of the card, and that will cover up your mistake. I'm using the Winter Frost Designer Series paper, and this is cut 2 inches by 5.5. Just add adhesive around all the edges, and this just gets glued right to the bottom. We're going to use white organza ribbon, slip it under the front of the card, and we're going to tie a simple knot. You're going to make an X with the ribbon. Whatever is on top is going to get tucked underneath. I use my middle finger to hold the middle, and I'm going to pull this towards me so that it's not twisted. I'm going to switch middle fingers. So this middle finger is upside down, and that's going to hold the middle of my knot. And then I make that same X I did before, and what is on top is going to get tucked underneath. And then just pull this straight and fuss just a little bit to get it the way that you like it. And we're going to trim it with the ribbon scissors. These scissors I use only for cutting ribbon so it stays nice and sharp. I'm going to use a stamp set called Festive Flurry. I'm going to use the smallest snowflake. We're going to use scrapped Whisper White cardstock. Go back to Coastal Cabana, use the smallest snowflake, tap, tap, and press firmly on the paper. We're going to use a coordinating framelit. This will line up exactly to the image, and we're going to use the next largest size snowflake with the silver glimmer paper, and we're going to die cut this with the Big Shot. We're going to use a magnetic platform. We're going to have a cutting pad on the bottom. We're going to place the Whisper White cardstock with the framelit, and the magnetic platform keeps this framelit from moving. So once you have it in place, it's going to stay there. We're going to tuck in the silver glimmer paper and the next largest size snowflake, and we'll die cut both of these at the same time. You're going to place a cutting pad on top, and I like to tuck it in and set it down. I want to make sure that I don't scoot it over the framelits to move those out of position. So I'm going to grip it from here and push it in and start turning the handle. When it goes through the Big Shot, these snowflakes have already been die cut, and you just lift them off. This one will pop right down, and then you remove the framelit. So you have a perfectly die cut snowflake. The silver glimmer paper and this size snowflake, you have to kind of work it just a little bit. So take your fingernail and just kind of poke it around these little points to help that release before you pop it through. We're going to add this snowflake on top of the silver one with dimensionals, but it's hard to get adhesive like dimensionals and our snail and sometimes even our glue dots to stick to this glimmer paper. I'm going to show you a trick. for making sure this stays stuck on there. I'm going to use a circle punch to punch out the center of the snowflake. So just use this upside down. As long as you're somewhere in the middle, you're going to be fine. And toss that out. I'm going to cut the edges of my dimensionals because I'm going to use these in just a bit. And I'm going to add dimensionals to the larger silver snowflake first. And then this is going to go right over here. And then I'm going to put double dimensionals right in the center. That's going to make sure that this stays popped up, and also it'll stick better to the cardstock underneath instead of the glimmer paper. So on your dimensionals, you're just going to stick them to each other. And this is going to go right in the center. Now I'm still going to add those little tiny snippets of dimensionals on these points because I want it nice and even when it's popped up. And I'm going to line up these large points to the smaller points. So there's my card. I'm going to stamp a greeting for the inside and decorate the envelope to match. The inside of my card measures 4 inches by 5 1/4. I'm going to take the same snowflake, ink it up in Coastal Cabana, and I'm going to stamp a few of them, and some of them I'm going to stamp without re-inking. So I'm just going to move that just a little bit. And now this third one that I'm going to stamp here, I need to stamp off on my paper so it's as light as this one. So I'm just going to stamp off once, and then I'll come back to this. I'm going to go back to my scrap Whisper White cardstock, and I'm going to punch that out with the decorative label punch. Once you get the paper centered inside the opening, you can give a half squeeze on the punch to grip the paper, and you can check the placement before punching that out. We're going to add dimensionals to the back. We're going to layer this right in the center and layer this to the inside of the card. Again, add adhesive around the edges. We're going back to the Coastal Cabana ink. Tap, tap. And we're going to stamp this a couple of times as well. So I'm going to stamp once in the center, and then I'm going to rotate this. And then I'm going to stamp here, just making a little border of snowflakes. Now for this one, I need to stamp off, so it's as light as this one. So I'm just going to stamp off on my scratch paper. And I'm going to add one more on the end. There you go. That's my first Christmas card for 2014. This is the earliest I've ever stamped my holiday cards, and my plan is to do 10 in every month, and by the end of October, when I want to start mailing out my holiday cards, I'll have 100 cards already set and ready to go. I hope this has inspired you to start your 2014 holiday cards early. If you'd like to see more ideas, you can visit me at KeenanCreations.com. Thanks and have a great day.